Hello, everyone, and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama. Today, I have with me a fabulous queen who charmed us with her personality and her unstoppable CuCu when she appeared on seasons 8 and 9 of RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm super excited for you all to get to know her better and learn more about her amazing journey in drag. We'll, of course, be talking all things Drag Race, and I'll be asking some of the amazing questions you all sent in. So please join me in welcoming the always entertaining Cynthia Lee Fontaine. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on this interview. I always watch your videos. I love your analysis. Because listen, for me, you are like, in politics of Drag Race and you know every single detail of all of us. So, I should better watch out my back because maybe probably you investigate every single detail about my CuCu. So I'm ready for this interview. But once again, thank you for this opportunity to give me this platform, and to all your subscribers. Hola, how are you? Thank you for your love and support, and thank you for support all of us, our siblings of Drag Race.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. I'm so glad to hear you like my videos. And yeah, I always try and be very, diplomatic and very non-biased because I just love the drag queens. I love all of the drama, but I also love the queens like yourself. I know my subscribers were so excited that I was interviewing you. I had so many questions people submitted. People love you. Everyone was like, oh my God, we love Cynthia. Like everyone loves you.
And I see the love actually on your social media, especially on your YouTube channel, all the comments, everybody's so supportive, everybody's so loving, not just only to me, to all my other siblings, especially to the other Miss Congeniality, formers of the show. So we appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. In my case, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my CuCu too as well. Thank you.
Gotta be the CuCu, gotta be the CuCu.
It is the branding, honey.
Oh yeah, so obviously we're very excited to hear from you and everything. And I think people just loved you so much on the show because you were so lovely and so warm and so kind. And obviously your Miss Congeniality, which we'll talk about maybe a bit later. But I was wondering if we could first start off by talking maybe a little bit about how you got into drag and how you started your drag career.
Well, to tell the story a little bit, I started on the entertainment business in Puerto Rico since 1999. And I always love, being on stage or just only at church singing a gospel song because my family is Seventh-day Adventist church and part of my family is Catholic. So I used to be like a active member, of the church. And that's when I started singing since 1996. So that was my first track show, honey. Praise me. But then after that, I moved. I used to live in Panama, Central America, with my stepfather, with my mom, with my brother, and my sister. And then after 9 years, I decided to come back to my island, Puerto Rico, to continue my college, studies, which I finished in clinical psychology. But at that period of time that I finished my bachelor degree, I was already working on the entertainment business in Puerto Rico. I was working on TV, I was working on Vision Network, Telemundo Network, and other productions too as well. But sadly, back in the days, it used to be the backlash of individuals like me that they were like queer and the mannerisms were a little bit flamboyant. So I didn't find a niche of a group or a community that accept me the way that I was. Back in the days, it was machismo, the most buff and the most bush that you can look in front of the camera or when you're doing a performance, the better. So it was a struggle for me just trying to figure out how to fit on the entertainment business back in the days because it used to be very toxic masculinity, let's say it that way. And especially in the Latinx community, where I came from Puerto Rico and other Latin American countries, which today we see an advance, we see a progress. But back in the days, it used to be a little bit difficult for queer individuals like me to fit in. But then, so still early 2000 after Y2K, I was very involved in the entertainment business in Puerto Rico, TV, music, and more. I used to be a backup singer. I used to be a backup dancer too. I used to work for a TV show in Puerto Rico called Objetivo Fama, Objective Fame, that it was very similar as American Idol or, The Voice, or, sort of different, like very similar TV shows as we know internationally, like that way, singing competitions. But I never get a spot because they always saw my body language. I was very flamboyant. I was too queer for the camera. So I never find a niche on the entertainment business till I met drag. And how I met this beautiful artistry, I went to the bars in Puerto Rico, to the nightclubs. One of the first persons that I have the opportunity to saw on stage was Lorna Bando, that she's a former Miss Continental Elite. And she's a huge advocate for the LGBTQ rights in Puerto Rico. And when I saw her and I saw the transformation and I saw the performance, and she did a ballad. Let me tell you, a ballad. No backflips, no split, honey. It was a ballad. I was mesmerized. And I said, I have the curiosity, but in my head, I was fighting and debating, with the demons of stigma and discrimination. So it was just only one day. I was reunited with one of my first drag houses because I have three. Honey, my family's big. I have three drag houses. And the first house was House of Lalique with Pedro Davila. He's an international designer. He designed for Miss Puerto Rico Universe organization, a couple of the girls. And for me, he designed a couple of stuff for season 9 of Drag Race too. He told me one day, one of your sisters is not going to be able to perform one show. So I spoke with my sister back in the days. Her name was Gia Karanji. She told me, like, I don't have anybody to cover my gig tonight. I'm currently competing in a pageant in Puerto Rico and I need your help. And I'm like, how I'm supposed to help you? I never been in high heels. I never been in wig. I never been in drag before. She's like, don't worry. I got that figured out. I have one of our friends that I knew back in the days to do your makeup. You can borrow some stuff from my closet, whatever you need, just only 2 numbers and host. And I'm like, wow, like you're giving me a big responsibility. But at the same time, myself, I always been a person of adventure. I never have any opportunity to feel fear for anything at all. The moment that I decide to live my life as a gay person, that was the moment that I feel liberated. Even if my parents and part of my family didn't know that I was doing drag, and even I was out, which that's another book, honey. And then that night, it was December 17, 2006, in Maya, West Puerto Rico, at the west of the island. I get the opportunity to perform. And when I saw honey in my hands, 40 American dollars for my first number as tips, I said, I found my niche. This is my chosen career. This is my passion, But, talking on the serious note of this story, when I see the love and support of the crowd, when I saw the crowd that they were enjoying what I was doing on stage, which I was not, a stranger for the stage. It wasn't my first time at the rodeo. I was, like I told you before, I was a backup dancer and I was a backup singer and working on productions in Puerto Rico before. But in this time, it was in drag, in full transformation. That was the moment that I understood this is my community. This community can help me to develop and grow as an artist, but also as an entertainer, as a drag performer. And since then, 17 years in drag and still, counting and, recording in my mind beautiful memories of all my career and everything. Like I told you before, I have 3 drag families. House of Lalique from Pedro Davila, Catila Fontaine, that she used to be a drag performing comedian, a host, an amazing individual. Sadly, she's not with us anymore. Before the season 8 was aired, sadly, she passed away, but still I'm in touch with my other sisters from La Fontaine family and my other family, House of Goddesses, House of Lee, with Kaira Naranjo and Luis Bosques, that I'm still in touch with them. I have more siblings. Honey, they are gremlins. Like, you just put water and they reproduce like crazy. And I love that, So those are my 3 families, and all these families are enjoying all the success and all the amazing memories and experiences that ever last for all of us, and especially my heart, through the artistry of drag.
No, that's an amazing story. No, it's lovely to hear. Like, you've got so many, like, massive drag family and everything. So you mentioned obviously like the House of Fontaine. So where does your drag name come from? Does that come from the house?
Oh, well, yes. Part of the drag name is from 2 of my drag houses. And my real name, well, let me break it up to you, okay? So Cynthia, it's inspired on Cynthia Olavarria. Cynthia Olavarria, she used to be a pageant, queen in Puerto Rico. She is former Miss Puerto Rico Universe 2005. Now she's an actress on Telemundo and other soap operas and big productions. Um, for me, and we're friends, we're very close. I love her so much. For me, she's the epitome of elegance, sophistication, talent, and beauty. And I always been amazed by her beauty, the way that she talks, the way that she's so diplomatic. I want to send kisses to her, but probably she's watching this because I told her I'm going to be having an interview with you. Then Lee is from House of Lee, Lee, Kyra Lee Naranjo, and Luis Vasquez from the west of the island. My career in comparison of the career of other siblings from Puerto Rico, a lot of my sisters from Puerto Rico, the majority, not all of them, developed their career as the capital of the island, Puerto Rico, San Juan. But in my case, I'm one of the only ones that went to Drag Race that I'm of the west of the island, Puerto Rico, Maya West. So that's the Lee. And then Fontaine, from Katy La Fontaine family, that it's in San Juan, Puerto Rico, the base of the house, and all the La Fontaine, members. So that's how a Cynthia Lee Fontaine came to life.
Wow, that's really cool that your name sort of like pays respect to all these different houses and all these people, like you said, the Miss Continental winner. Like, it's really nice that your name has a real meaning to it, and I think that's really special. And that doesn't surprise me because you are well, Miss CuCu, but you're also Miss Congeniality. So it makes sense that you would have like this loving meaning behind your name.
And that's my biggest advice to every single entertainer that had the opportunity to create a name. It can be a cookie name, or it could be a campy name, or it could be a glory name. It can be whatever you want to be, because drag is about that. It's an artistry that have an expression, and it have to be very personal. But at the same time, when you create your drag name, honey, choose something that you like, because that's going to be representing you and your brand and your artistry for so many years to come. So in my case, it have a special place in my heart because every single part of my name, my two last names and my name represent individual that impact my life significantly in a way, artistically, on a personal level. So I'm very proud of Cynthia Lee Fontaine, and of course, the CuCu that was born later, but I'm very happy with my branding. I'm very happy with my name. I'm very happy with who I am as an entertainer. And that's part that it matters the most.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm so glad that you have that. Obviously, you mentioned your CuCu. Speaking of your CuCu, I think that's something that obviously you became really famous for, and that brings us on to Drag Race. And so I was just wondering, because you talked about that was sort of your entrance into Drag Race. You told us about your CuCu, and like everyone knows you for that now. I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the audition process and how you started going, because obviously you were on season 8 and season 9. So for let's start with season 8. What was the audition process like, and when did you start to get interested in Drag Race and auditioning?
So my interest on Drag Race started exactly as on the first season of Drag Race. As soon as I saw Puerto Rican representation, Latino representation, Nina Flowers and Jay Sotomayor, I was like, oh my God, not just only Latinas, not just only drag queens, Puerto Ricans, entertainers are on the show. And I was so happy. I'm like, wow, wait a second. And it was in an era, still 2008, 2007, 2009, that is still a little bit of stigma discrimination to see queer representation on TV. Yes, in America, we have other TV shows like Queer as Folk, that it was produced in Canada, and other TV shows that start showing more queer representation, like Adam Lambert on American Idol, or our lovely Abdul Delano, that was an American Idol too as well, contestant. But seeing a show that celebrated the artistry of drag was for me like a mind-blowing in every single aspect of my life. So since season 1, I used to watch, that was the moment that I had the opportunity to know, like, this is, oh my God, I want to audition for the show. And the best part was that I met Nina Flowers, because Nina Flowers was related to La Fontaine house back in the days, especially for Alex Soto, that he was a huge TV personality in Puerto Rico. Is one of my great great grandmas of drag. Sadly, she passed away, but her legacy is still living with us, everlasting forever. And I I met Nina and I'm like, Nina, you are on Drag Race. She was like, loca, let me tell you, it's a lot of pressure, but having a TV show that celebrate drag, oh my God. And that got my heart more. And especially that I always been a huge fan of RuPaul. I follow RuPaul since, the first single, Cover Girl, and, her collaboration with Elton John and the RuPaul show. I always watch everything from Mama Ru. So for me, that we have a reality competition, it's for drag queens, and you can win some money and you can get some, recognition as a equal artist as other artists on the entertainment business. That was insane for me. So that was the moment that I show interest to audition for Drag Race. But it wasn't until season 6 of Drag Race, Bianca Del Rio season, that I show officially and I said, no. I stepped my CuCu up and I said, I'm going to audition for this show. And it was a couple of years that I already, I used to live in Puerto Rico, of course, my island, but then I decided to move to Texas because my mom and my stepfather, part of my family, lives here. And first, I want a better job opportunities, but also I want to explore the history of drag and entertainment here in Texas, that it was huge. I want to meet back in the days, Erica Andrews, Taryn Taylor, Kelly Klein, Tanya Ross, Aisha O'Hara, biggest names that for me were like fascinating to me because they were professionals on this artistry. But on season 6, I decided to audition. And let me tell you, honey, my audition tape, it's not a bad audition tape. It's just boring because it was so correct. It was so like, I look military, to be very honest with you. No personality at all, like vibrant personality, not showing who I was, because I was so concerned to do a good audition tape that I forgot to have fun. And that's the motto of the show. RuPaul say it all the time. Loosen up and have fun, especially for Snatch Game. Oh, PTSD. Okay, never mind. And but the thing is, like, that was the moment that I decided to audition. And then they sent me an email and they said, like, very correct audition tape. But the personality, we heard the production, one of the members of the production, what we heard, you have a great personality when you have the opportunity to host the shows in Austin, Texas, where I live, at Oakland's Harry's, 4th Street downtown. At that moment, I was terrified because I was like, these people is stalking me, honey. They are they're looking for me. You know what I'm saying? So try to audition one more time. And we would like to see that real personality, the real you. And I'm like, oh my God, should I call the FBI, CSI? I don't know. I was a little bit like, but at the same time, I was happy because they were looking at me. They were looking at my artistry. They were looking like what Cynthia Fontaine can offer different. So we had the opportunity to cast her. So I decided to focus on learning more about the artistry. My drag mom, like I told before, from last House of Lalique, Pedro Davila, he came here. He was with me. He spent a couple of months with me in Austin, Texas. He teach me how to do the basics of sewing, and designing and how to work spandex. And spandex is drag queen best friends. And then I was doing all my customs and everything. And I have a very nice conversation backstage one day with Alexis Mateo. I love my sister. She's very supportive, and Yara Sofia too. And they were talking to me and they said, like, you know what? Why you don't consider the possibility to audition back again for Drag Race? Really, we support you, whatever you need. And I was like, oh my God, let's do it. And at that period of time, one of my best friends that now he's my agent, and he got one of the newest and biggest agency for talent in the industry, Javier Simmons. He told me, I don't know how to do audition tapes or videos, but I help you with my iPhone 8. Imagine iPhone 8. So I say, yes. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. And this time when I auditioned for season 8, my video was more vibrant. My video was, well, it was crazy. It was cuckoo crazy. If you know what I'm saying, and you know me, on TV. So basically I throw all my entire like qualities of my personality, even I whistle, like, and I start like, getting a little bit more personal, getting a little bit into for them to know me, especially Mama Ru, because Mama Ru watched every single audition tape of every single person. People think now it goes to a scrutiny and it goes first to casting crew. No, 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 no. Mama RuPaul watched the videos, So don't blame her if she forget names. She watched all the videos of thousands of girls, entertainers that try to audition for the show. So I complete my audition and I send my audition tape. And it was a blessing in my life that 48 hours after they were calling me and they said, hey, Cynthia, we want to call you because you are on an eligibility process to become part of cast of season 8 of Drag Race. And we would like for you confidentiality and we would like you to maintain this discreet as possible. And I was at the phone and I was like, and that was like 2 days after I sent my audition tape, imagine. So I was like super like in shock and I was surprised, and not surprised because I didn't know the caliber of entertainer and TV personality that I had, but how fast they called me. And that reminded me 2 years before that I auditioned for season 6 of Drag Race, which bless the Lord of Drag Race, aka RuPaul, that didn't cast me for season 6 because I knew with that amazing, extraordinary season and cast, I was one of the first eliminated. Even Magnolia Crawford with that fish, contour, she might be probably eliminated after me because that season is one of the most competitive and talented ever. One of my favorite seasons, besides season 8 and season 9, of course. But I was very happy. So it's back in the days, the process was, because it changed a lot. Back in the days, it was 2 months of eligibility process. I know I sound like a government, eligibility for food stamps, for food like help from the government. But it's that way, You go into a couple of interviews with the production staff too as well. They ask you all your entire story of your life since you were on your mom uterus till you become a drag queen. They want to know every single detail aspect of your life. Obviously, they are very respectful and they ask you what aspects of your life you don't want to talk on TV, what aspect of your life you want to highlight on the TV show. So, their World Wonder with me was absolutely phenomenal. I don't have any complaints. I don't have any regrets. They were very nice. And after all those interviews, it was a phone call that maybe probably can be longer for 3 hours, asking about myself, asking about my artistry, asking about my life. After that, you go to a psychological evaluation. I know it's a shocker. People think like, what the heck? Some of my siblings pass that and they get to the TV show. Well, I mean, it's a psychological evaluation. It's a assessment, a psychological assessment, not a psychological evaluation. That's a difference, And then after that, a full physical, which when I did my physical, for my surprise, everything was great with me, I don't have any problems, So everything was great. I'm OCD, so I did all that right after. And then when I just sent them all the results and they spoke with the psychologist in San Antonio, Texas, I have to drive over there from Austin to do the psychological evaluation or the assessment. A week after, I remember till today, it was June 26th. It was the day that it was officialized gay marriage in America at 3:30 p.m. I was at my office because I used to be a caseworker for HIV clients. They called me and I have to ask one of my clients, I'm so sorry, I have to interrupt the session with you today. Is that okay that we can reschedule? Say like, no, don't worry. And apparently one of the caseworkers were like, spreading the rumor at the office that I was auditioning for a TV show. So follow to that, my client winked the eye like, you got this, Mr. Diaz. I'm like, okay, everybody knows. No, it's not supposed to everybody to know, but okay. And they call me and they say, congratulations. Welcome to the Drag Race family. You're part of the cast of season 8 of Drag Race. Imagine, goosebumps. It was a moment of happiness. It was a moment of joy. I went out of my office and the first thing that I did was I went to my parking lot and I cried next to my car. And I'm like, oh my God, this is happening. I was so excited, you know, but with excitement comes with a lot of responsibility and comes with a lot of madness and craziness because back in the days for season 8, you just had 2 weeks to prepare. And it was 27 looks with 27 different wigs with 27 different shoes. At that time, season 7 changed completely the dynamic of Drag Race. And you start seeing girls more with front lace, even with Bianca Del Rio wear a lot of front lace. We have Roxy Andrews, perfection from head to toe. We have Courtney Add that were wearing like front lace, for example, you know? But it was an era that drag, because of the TV show, was being seen as we're not drag queens anymore. You are a reality star. You are a star. You're an artist. So in my head, the responsibility to combine my campiness into the new branding style for TV, to be presentable for TV, was a huge challenge because we have a traditional way to do drag on bars, which is beautiful. I mean, today change because all the new generation of drag today, honey, it's beautiful. I mean, and you have all the entire resources from the internet to learn how to do drag in an amazing way. Back in the days, we don't have that. It was my drag moms making me do one eye makeup, and it wasn't right. I did a scream like, you did that, you need to do that back again, and then like you clean up your face and do that makeup one more time until you get it right. But now you can go to any, streaming application, aka YouTube or Vimeo, and you can get all these tutorials, so it's more easier. That's why we have the artistry of drag more elevated, sophisticated when it comes to makeup, hair, and costume. But back in the days, it was an interaction one-on-one, you know? That's why we met from the first like 9 seasons of Drag Race or 8 seasons. But in my head, I'm like, I go to TV. I'm going to TV, so I need to look good. I need to look right. So in 2 weeks, I have to prepare 27 looks, like I told you before, with different shoes and everything. But 2 weeks, just only 2 weeks. So it was myself preparing mostly the majority of the looks and getting ready to go to the show. Imagine my little apartment. It was a 550 square feet apartment, all full in rhinestones, sequins, and more. Even I remember I'm very OCD. I'm a very clean person. So imagine myself dealing with how perfectionist I was with the cleanness of my apartment versus I need to prepare to the show. There's no option for you to 5 minutes to broom and clean the house. Walking in on my carpet and feeling like all the sequins and stones getting stuck on my feet. It was crazy. So I think that was the biggest pressure that we had the first 8 seasons of Drag Race before, because I heard today it's a little bit more elongated time for them to prepare, which that's why they are looking phenomenal and spectacular on TV, you know? But then after that, I remember June 26th, already on July, I was traveling to LA to start filming season 8 of Drag Race.
That's an incredible story, and it is just so crazy that you only get 2 weeks to prepare for Drag Race. Like, it's insane when you think about it. So obviously thinking about season 8, you walked in, and I think you obviously had your CuCu, and it was like you were just a ball of energy. You were so fun. I think people instantly fell in love with you. What was it like going onto the set on season 8 and meeting all the other queens? Like, did you know anyone from before, or?
So back in the days, it was a little bit social media was starting to get more popular, you know. For example, for the Latin American community back in the days, used to be Facebook, the most famous social media platform. So Instagram was a little bit new. And especially in my case, to me, even if I was living already in USA, in Texas. So for me to get the connection of knowing other, of my siblings from my season 8, from social media, from season 8, exactly. I didn't know like almost any of them, just only Neisha Lopez. Because I know Neisha Lopez for the pageantry system for Miss Continental. But the other, my other siblings, Kimchi or Layla McQueen or Dax exclamation point, I met them right after on the workroom, So I think now, for example, I don't know, you saw the premiere of season 16 of Drag Race, and you saw a couple of the girls already like, oh my God, I follow you on Instagram. I love your artistry. You follow me back, like Tsunami talking with Morphine, that interaction back in the days, it was very organic. Like we really didn't know each other if you don't went from the city that you were representing to compete on Drag Race. For example, in my season, it was a lot of girls from New York, which highlight to all the entire entertainment community in New York is very talented. I love them so much. And Torgy, you have Acid Betty, you have Bob, those. I mean, they took over the conversation in a moment that they were filming all the interaction after the workroom because they knew each other for years, But it was us trying to breaking in, and I'm like, okay, so there's new girls, honey. Look around, interact with me. I mean, that wasn't hard for me because I'm a talker. Even I can talk with everybody, randomly at the line at the supermarket, waiting to purchase all my groceries, because that's the way that I am. So it wasn't hard for me, but the majority, we all met on season 8 on that workroom, and that was very interesting. And I think that type of interaction make everything more organic, to use a word, because you want to have the opportunity to engage with new personalities and character, and you want to know who's going to be your competitors. Today it's a little bit like, social media connect us. Like today, with this interview, I'm here in Texas, you're there, but we get the opportunity to see each other and to have this beautiful interview and this communication, But for me, the only one that I knew, it was Neisha Lopez. The rest, I met them over there in, but the rest of the story through the episodes.
No, that's really interesting. Yeah, I remember that you and Naisha knew each other. I remember that from that, and that was really interesting. So obviously you were also on season 9. We'll talk about that in a minute. But for season 8, obviously you were only there for I think 3 episodes, so sadly not very long. But you made a very big impact with your CuCu. So with season 8, you actually ended up being eliminated in episode 3, I believe it was. One question I wanted to ask you was, there's a rumor online that I wondered if you could talk about. So during your elimination lip sync against Robbie Turner, the rumor is that you cut your leg, and that's why you had to have first aid. And if you look at the before and after, you're wearing red tights before, and then after, at the end of the lip sync, you're not wearing them anymore. So I was just wondering, is that true?
Absolutely. It's true. Absolutely, it's true. Back in the days, I don't know today, like I said, there's a couple of things that changed to production wise and details. But back in the days, you used to do your lip sync for your life. They used to film that twice. Okay. When I did my first shot, filming my lip sync against Robbie Turner, when I did my split, here's the problem. We have the wheels runway look, right? A couple of the girls, they break some of the light bulbs on the stage, They tried to clean the mouse, but it was particles of light bulbs on the floor still. That's why, if you notice, now on the main stage, the lights that are surrounded on the catwalk, they are different. Now there's LED. They don't have light bulbs anymore for liability. Because what happened to me? Because as soon as I did the split, I was bleeding on my right knee. And something that I didn't talk about, but I'm gonna, talk to you because we're serving tea, honey. Is that as soon as I finished my lip sync, since I was so weak because everything that were happening to me with the symptoms of liver cancer stage 1, I faint on stage. I fall. They need to bring paramedics. Cynthia, are you okay? And then like, when I returned back to conscious, they were like, oh my God, like, are you sure you want to do the lip sync for your life for the second time? And I'm like, no, I'm here to work, so I will do it. But they wait. They say like, no, we want to make sure that everything's okay with you. And they wait like 15, almost 20 minutes. And Mama Ru left, you know, to have her conversations and things, you know. And when we came back, she said, like, are you okay, Cu? And I'm like, I'm okay. I'm going to do this. If this is my episode, I'm going to go all the way to the end. And they were like super surprised by my reaction because I really looked very skinny on camera. I lost 42 pounds in a week of filming. And I was having constant diarrhea. My skin looks completely pale and yellow because, of course, my liver cancer was fighting against my immune system and my body. Imagine. And they were like super concerned. That day, I have a doctor coming to the workroom, do some blood work, send to the lab. Again, the experience that I had with World Wonder was phenomenal, spectacular. They are so professional. And I'm not saying this, honey, because I want to come back to the TV show. I'm not that way because I'm an honest person. I'm just saying my experience with me, the interaction and the way that they work with me was really professional and was really nice. Even like I said, like they have the responsibility to take care of ourselves. So they might probably take us to a medical center or anything, but they decide to bring a doctor to the workroom. I mean, so things like that, you know, and I decided to do the second lip sync, and that's when you see me and all the entire, like, you know, viewers of the show that I don't have the horrible red fishnets. And if you see closely, I have a Band-Aid. And I was showing my legs. I'm very picky with my drag. I mean, a little bit of disconnection on Backstage interaction because I recognize it, you know, now that I watched the show several times to learn. But at the same time, I always wear like fishnets or pantyhose, you know. So yes, the rumors are true, but the production was very nice. RuPaul and his team was very, very nice. They were very, very concerned. I do believe, you know, Robbie killed the lip sync, but of course, my body wasn't giving the 100% of the energy for the lip sync because I was experiencing the illness. So that was the reason why I have to send home. They have to send me home. You know what I'm saying? RuPaul decided to say, like, we have to eliminate you, Cynthia, you know, but as soon as I get eliminated, the doctor see me back again, and they said, like, I need you to take this referral to your doctors in Austin, Texas, because you need more studies. Because I don't know, I think there's something going on with you. Your jello eyes, your jello skin. This is not normal, you know. So it was a mix of a couple of things. You know what I'm saying? But you know, for the safety of my participation on the TV show, the production being concerned about my health wise and all my, you know, mental, you know, everything. They said, like, you need to see a doctor right after.
Wow, that's crazy that's like a crazy story. And I'd heard the rumor. I've talked about it on my channel before, but it's interesting to hear that you're confirming it's true. Obviously, very sad that you got eliminated. Obviously, your liver cancer. We will talk about that in a minute. You talked about it on season 9 as well. So just sort of going back. So you said that they do the lip syncs twice, and I guess that's to get like different camera angles and stuff. Do they do that now, or is that just something they used to do in the old days?
Honestly, I don't know as much. I think I heard rumors that some of the lip syncs they do it twice. They still doing that, you know, method and technique just to make sure that they have all the juicy stuff that happened, honey, during the lip sync. You know, if you lost a wig, you lost a high heel, you know, and we know stories, you know, that we saw in the episodes for some All Stars edition or regular season that people is losing somebody parts in the middle of the lip sync, you know. So I'm assuming because it happens, that some, you know, my siblings, you know, at the end they told me, like, you know what, they just put the bad edit because we filmed this twice. I'm like, okay, so that means they still doing it, you know. But or weeks or falling on stage, you know, things like that.
Well, that's very interesting. So thank you for confirming the rumor that, you know, obviously that did happen. Obviously, so you talked about that you were very sick on season 8 and you lost lots of weight and you were having the symptoms of liver cancer. we know obviously from season 9, you talked about that you had stage 1 liver cancer. I was just wondering, I read online, I think that you got diagnosed with cancer like 2 weeks after filming season 8, or around that sort of time. So I was just
Yes,
wondering if you
that's
could,
correct.
I was just wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that process and what actually happened.
Well, as soon as I get eliminated from the TV show, they decide to do the closing interviews because they do closing interviews or exit interviews, as they call it today, and to me, and they say like, we need to send you home as soon as possible, and please just take the referral to your doctor because you need more studies, you need to see their doctor, and maybe probably you need a specialist. And I'm like, the way that I'm feeling, the way that I'm so skinny, like if you see me, I was walking school, I was on a skeleton. And I was losing a lot of components and minerals because I was not processing everything. So I'm like, I need to see a doctor as soon as possible. So as soon as I get to Austin, I saw my doctor right after, and he said, I need to send you a specialist immediately. And I'm like, but what's going on? And the doctor said, like, I can tell you right now because it can be irresponsible from me. Um, but I want you to see this specialist and send me to oncologist, which an angel, the doctor. I'm always grateful, eternally grateful for all the entire process. And then like they sent to labs to Atlanta, and they came back immediately. It was so everything was so fast, and I didn't understand why. Um, and then like my oncologist told me like, yeah, sit down. I need to tell you a diagnose, and he was very nice and everything. I explained, and he walked me through everything, and he told me like, hey, you have liver cancer stage 1, and it's not a good thing, but at the same time, since it's an early stage, we can attack this right after. So we need you to put you on chemo and radio. So I was on chemo and radio for 4 months. Um, Again, I lost, imagine, I lost 42 pounds already during the filming of the show. I lost 15 extra more pounds during all that entire process. I was underweight. So I was drinking shakes. I was drinking vitamins. I was drinking, minerals and stuff. It was an all entire process, So everybody that is watching the show and empathize with, my story and my testimony or your experience cancer, I totally empathize. I totally understand what you're going through because it's really difficult process, And September, let's say August. From August to September, I start all my entire treatment all the way till December that year. And you can ask any of my siblings and any of from season 8. We have a group chat on Facebook. I don't know the new girls or the new and siblings of the new seasons where they have their chats, but usually back in the day, used to do a group on Facebook, and we talk about what you're going to wear for the premiere, what you're going to do for this. Back in the days, used to be a premiere tour out of town. It was Chicago, it was Los Angeles, it was New York, and for season 8, I was blessed to have the opportunity to come to Austin, Texas, which it was a very exciting premiere. Now it's a more premiere press tour in New York City. But you used to travel, and it was a difficult time because it was on January, and the weather here, because of the cold weather, it was really bad, or even like, it was snowing and then all this stuff, So they were so impressed during my time that I was receiving all my treatments that I was preparing myself by myself, every single look for all the entire promo tour for season 8. They were like, Cynthia, you should be resting. Bob, Layla, Acid, Naisha, they were like, babe, you need to rest. Like, we need you to get recovered so you can go back on the road. And you can ask Bob. Bob was impressed. Like, he can tell you, like, this is banana, Cynthia. Like, you are on the state that you are. And you're the first one to have all the promo looks and finale looks and everything figured out. Honey, but that's the way that I am. I like to work. I'm OCD, so I want to have everything ready. And for me, what I do is my passion, and what I do is my motivation, my inspiration to continue, enjoying life the most. So why stop doing that? And it was working for me as a medicine, for healing, beside all the medication and all the treatment that I receive in Austin, Texas, which I'm blessed with all the entire oncology staff that have the opportunity to interact with my case, So even of those obstacles and everything that I faced during that time, I was on time with everything.
That's so impressive that you did all of
Thank
that
you.
while recovering from cancer. Like that's insane. Obviously, it just shows you're all very hardworking. So I'm sure a lot of people will be wondering how are you now with your cancer, and how has that gone? You know, are you feeling healthy now? Are you in remission now, and things like that?
Absolutely 100% of my remission of my liver cancer stage 1. I'm very healthy. Um, Actually, my recovery from my hip replacement, is going great. I'm going to see my doctor for my annual checkup for my hip replacement and recovery. For my lower back surgery, I'm doing good. A couple of years ago, 2019, I broke my wrist too. I mean, everything been happening since I was on Drag Race. I don't want to say it was a curse because it was a blessing, but honey, my body been through a process, you know. But today I can tell you, Matt, that I'm doing phenomenal. I'm doing fantastic. And I'm ready to continue working hard and entertain any each of you.
Oh, that's lovely. I'm so glad. That's lovely to hear that you're feeling a lot better, because that was what I was wondering. Because obviously you came back for season 9, which was not very long after. And when I was sort of researching, I didn't realize how quick it was between you got diagnosed just after filming season 8, and you were really sick, and you had, obviously treatment for cancer, and then you got cast again on season 9. So what I was wondering is, do you think you got brought back for season 9 because you were so you were so sick on season 8 that they had to eliminate you? And do you think if you had been healthy, you would have stayed on season 8 and you would have beat Robbie Turner in the lip sync? Or do you think you got brought back for another reason?
Well, I think I've been brought back to season 9 because my health condition was not the best. I have an illness, so they want to. Since I was great, here's the reasons why. Let me serve you the tea, even if you're drinking water, honey. One of the reasons why is when they call me, to come back to to season 9, to come back to the race, was because they said, like, it was so lovely and good to work with you, and we're gonna have that experience, but also we're gonna give you the opportunity for a second time because I know your health was compromised and you were not 100% focused. And with an illness like that, listen, sometimes I was dizzy. Sometimes I had to sit for elongated hours. Sometimes I did not receive the instructions well because I was not focused, because I was so weak. Remember, imagine a person that it's not eating like well, and actually like digestive system was all completely like messed up, not receiving, my head, my brain, oxygen, all the entire biological system was compromised because of the cancer. They say, like, we want to give you a second chance because we know you can do better, because Mama Ru cast you because she fell in love with your personality and you're a very talented entertainer. So that's the reason why that they decided to bring me back.
So that's so interesting. I wish, because obviously there's only a few queens that have been brought back. It's you and like Trixie and a few other, and obviously Naisha got brought back as well. But there's not many other, Eureka as well, and Vanjie. There's only been a couple of queens that have been brought back to another season. I was just wondering, how did that process happen? Did they call you and say, we want you to come back for season 9?
Well, let me stop you right there. I just want to remind you that Naisha was brought back on the same season, season 8.
Yes.
So she was brought back, but I know what you're saying, in another season,
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, because, my World Wonder family, it's good keeping secrets. I was doing a fundraiser show in Dallas, Texas, and I was doing that show with Alisa Edwards. A week before that show, I was traveling, I think it was Cincinnati, to do a show. And they call me and they say, Cynthia, how are you? How's everything with you? And they told me, like, how's your health wise? And I'm like, you know what? I just, I've been working back, and my doctor said, like, give me green light because I'm starting my remission process. which is a blessing because, sometimes remission can take longer, even a year after you receive chemo and radio treatment, or, it depends, every situation is different. But in my case, it was really fast. And I was working already. I was gaining weight. I was feeling like energized. So I'm like, oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm just here doing a show in Cincinnati. Then I'm going to be in Dallas next week. And they said like, hey, can you do a physical for us? Because this is the excuse. We would like you to, have a cameo on season 9 of Drag Race. And I'm like, okay, so maybe probably what in my head, what I thought was that they're gonna have a mini challenge of the CuCu mini challenge competition, and they're gonna put me in one of the episodes, and I'm gonna put the girls to twerk, perreo, like we call it in Spanish. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. So I sent the physical. I did another psychological assessment, a psychological evaluation. And I'm like, what? They asked me for a psychological evaluation. I mean, yes, I look cookie on TV, but I'm good. and those things were like, but I was so busy traveling with all the gigs and, getting all the coins. And a week after, they called me. And I remember I was finishing that gig. It was a fundraiser in Dallas. And they called me, and I was backstage getting, putting everything on my suitcase and getting ready to go out of the venue and go to, I was seeing a very beautiful Airbnb. That production was lovely. I always have beautiful memories from the production and logistic and everything. And I'm on the phone. They say like, hey, are you right now busy? Are you alone? And I'm like, I can whatever you need me to do, even if you want me to, walk naked and get AKA encuerado on the street, I do it. AKA, whatever you guys want me to do, because I love to work with them. I love TV. And they said, let us know when you get to your place, because we want to talk to you about something. Honey, I grabbed my suitcase as fast as I can. And Alisa was like, Mama, why you run to the Airbnb so fast? Who called you? And I'm like, I just have a call from a promoter. She's like, oh, a promoter. Listen, honey, you look the same as Impact as myself when I get the call for All Stars 2. Good luck, Mama, just in case. I'm like, I remember that like so graciously and always like made me smile because, Alisa is very supportive of all of us, and she always, number one and for advice and everything, she's really a good sibling, So kisses to you, Mama, and everything that you're doing right now so far, I love you. So anyway, the thing is, I went to the Airbnb and they called me and they said like, hey, the real offer is, do you would like to come back as a returning queen for Drag Race Season 9? And I'm like, oh my God, the Puerto Rican Shangela, yes, let's do it. And I say yes. But my reaction was laughing so hard. Like it was hysterical laughing, be myself on the Airbnb, because I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have another shot. I'm going to have another opportunity competing on Drag Race. I'm going to have an opportunity to come back to the TV show. So it was that mix of emotion of hysterical laughing versus overwhelming with happiness, because I'm like, oh, and now I'm healthy. My health, I'm recovered. Everything is great with me. I want to do it, So again, I went to the entire process for season 9 was 2 weeks of preparation. It was more looks because it was a little bit more elongated season, because they told me, we're not going to have the show on Logo TV anymore. Officially, we're moving to a bigger network, which is VH1. And kudos and kisses to Logo TV. Logo TV has been one of the first, networks, LGBTQ plus community oriented. They gave us a platform, but I was in shock that the show was moving to a network that the outreach, it was more bigger. And I'm like, wow, these people is playing the game, the production like was playing like all the cards, like really hard, you know what I'm saying? And it was 2 weeks to prepare. I have to cancel all my gigs. If people ask me, Cynthia, what happened? Like, where you going for a month and a half, 2 months? And I'm like, I get cast for Master Chef. I'm gonna do charubas for my life.
That's
And
so
people are like,
funny. That's a great excuse, MasterChef.
because listen, a couple of my siblings, they were using the excuse like, I'm going for a journey of retirement, a spiritual retirement, or I'm going on a cruise, or I'm going on a trip. And when you say that, people is like, girl, you're going to the TV show back, don't you? So I'm like, I want to distract all the attention and all the rumors and all the curiosity. Because I mean, I was already on season 8. A lot of people, the viewers were following me and the love and support. And if I disappear all of a sudden from all my social medias, they're going to be like, the rumors and stuff, which now I think it's a little bit more aggressive, maybe the way that people try to figure out who the girls might be part of the cast of the upcoming season, or even like what season they lost a wig or what happened, because again, internet technology, social media platforms made the opportunity to that connection like more closer. Back in the days, still, I think after season 9, season 10, boom, Instagram make like a boom, and Facebook and Twitter, now X and other platforms, but that was the way that I just, evade all the rumors in a funny way, but not trying to break a contract, because you sign a contract of confidentiality of not disclosing information of the show, not even like your cast for the show, which I respect that, because they want to bring all the drama, but all the surprises when the show is air.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a very good point. And I thought you coming back for season 9 was so cool. I was so excited to see you back because it was such a massive surprise. I didn't know you were coming back. So when I saw you come back, I was so excited because I loved you so much from season 8. I was just wondering, obviously you were on season 9. So you were on 2 seasons, but on season 9, I feel like you had maybe a bit more time to kind of like show yourself, and we'd already seen you on season 8. But I was wondering, was there a particular challenge on season 9 that you really found like the best challenge or the worst challenge?
Well, here's the thing. I love Charlie Heights so much. I love her. She's very professional. She's an amazing entertainer. She got millions of followers on YouTube and subscribers too as well. But I think the challenge that I want to, highlight a little bit more, that improv comedy that I know for all my years of experience on the entertainment business, that I couldn't in a way because Charlie was nervous. That's the reality. Was the Not On Today morning show, uh, really, it was myself trying to learn like the team and the topic we were talking, writing all the lines. But again, she faced some challenges too because she have a very thick accent, British beautiful accent. I love all my UK people. He says to all of you, but she, it was learning her humor, and then she was learning my humor plus my accent too as well. So it was a couple of challenges for interaction and communication that we had, and especially her, like she got nervous. Let's be honest, she was really nervous, and I was like, let's talk, relax, just have fun. Remember what RuPaul said all the time: just have fun, let it go, don't get on your head, Miss Fame, the chicken, things like that. So that was the challenge that maybe probably it gave me a little bit more. It was more challenging, and people get impressed with that because they thought, oh, I thought it was a snatch game. Listen, a snatch game for me, I was doing all the bananas and all the craziness by myself. I thought it was funny. I thought was killing it. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be on the top 3. I'm gonna be amazing. But because they were part of it, RuPaul was laughing, Even Candace Kane, that amazing goddesses, of the entertainment in America, an actress, from TV, she was laughing. Just 1 or 2 questions that I answer hypothetically out of the place. And they were like, oh, she's in CuCu land right now, And I'm like, but I thought that I killed it. But, I miss the reference, the facts of the character and personality of Sofia Vergara. Um, I step more into being more CuCu rather than the character, and I disattach completely from that role. So, there were things that in myself, because I'm ADHD, I totally forgot to stay focused. When you go to Snatch Game, it's about improv comedy, but also know the facts and all the reference from the character that you embodied in front of the camera. But I had fun. I was laughing. I talked with all my other sisters. They said, like, you did great. You made me laugh. But then at the end, when it comes to the critiques, the structure of the comedy and the improv that I was delivering, they were not buying. So, I mean, but I think the one that I have, like I told you before, the most challenging, because, when you work on teams or you work in pairs, it's different personalities. Everybody wants to stand out. But at the same time, we also can get nervous at the moment of the challenge. It was a live challenge, improv challenge, with the morning news. So you have to do everything like at the moment, even at the end. I said super late, and they don't put that on the edit. Like, and not on today, everybody. Have a wonderful, amazing day, blah, blah, blah. They don't edit that because already the camera cut. And then Ross Matthews, that was directing that light challenge, said, like, girls, you didn't say goodbye. I'm sorry, Cynthia, but you say it late. And I'm like, we're on the bottom. But I think that, and I love Charlie. I love her so much. She's a professional. I feel like if she got the motivation to come back to the TV show, she will slay, because she is very creative. She's great in what she does as a drag queen, as an entertainer. I have so much respect for her, so he says to her, next time, let's drink tea, honey. We're going to be fine. Maybe probably a cannabis edible. And then everything's going to overflow so easily, So kisses to her. I love her. I miss her too.
Yeah, it was that was a really interesting challenge. I think season nine's always been one of my favorites. I thought it was such a fun season. You had some really amazing challenges. The Not On Today was a really cool challenge, and it's difficult doing live TV, and it was kind of obvious that maybe there was like a lack of management or direction with how to do it. But they want you to do badly sometimes because it makes good TV. If everyone was amazing all the time, it wouldn't be great TV. But you made such great TV. Your Snatch Game was so funny, even though it wasn't a perfect, of Sofia Vergara. But I thought you were clearly having fun. I thought you actually were really funny. And I just think you as a person are so funny that I didn't really care. I just like, you're so funny. I was laughing just because you're Cynthia Lee Fontaine.
I've been me.
Also, unfortunately, you got eliminated again from season 9, and obviously you had your lip sync with Peppermint. And Peppermint is an incredible lip syncer, but unfortunately, you sort of got eliminated. One thing I really wanted to ask you about, though, if we sort of get to the end of season 9, was the reunion episode. Because the reunion was the season 9 reunion is maybe one of my favorite reunions ever. And obviously you were Miss Congeniality for season 8, which was very deserved. But that meant that you got to present the award to season 9 for the Miss Congeniality, and that was Valentina. And obviously the sort of the drama was that Valentina was sort of they kind of renamed the award fan favorite because they said that she wasn't really that congenial. And there was the whole thing with Aja and everything. And everyone was kind of going, sort of saying stuff about Valentina. I was just wondering, what was it like for you? Because obviously you were stood next to Valentina during that whole situation. So I was wondering, how did you feel about that?
So let me go back on story. As soon as I start competing on season 9, after my reveal to be the surprise contestant of season 9 of Drag Race, when the cameras are off, we have the hard eyes, rule, like, don't say anything because we want all the material, rolling over in front of the cameras, But I have a moment that I was de-dragging and I found my spot on the workroom. It was a little bit hard for me because everybody already, it was a lot of competitors that season. A lot of my siblings were, it was a huge, season, with a lot of members of the cast. So it was for me a little bit hard to find a niche because all of them like boom, boom, boom. They put all the spots and all those suitcases and everything. So in on that process, Valentina with the short Lady Gaga, turquoise wig, and with the glasses, she hit me with the glasses, and she was like, "Cuquita," and she told me this in Spanish. Yo soy Latina, Mexican American, so there's Latino representation. I'm Latino representation too, and I'm like, and we went crazy. Oh my god, blah blah blah. But then the production went like, just remember, cameras on. Okay, right now, everybody just say drag because we're gonna be on going on break and everything. I'm like, oh my god. So on that moment, our interaction was a very specific connection between me and Valentina because we spoke Spanish. Valentina is bilingual. And I mean, she embraced her ethnicity and her Latinidad, Latinx, heritage in a beautiful way. And we saw that on the show, how she went with this mariachi high couture dress, her wedding dress inspired on her mom, things like that. So I was very happy that we have more Latinx representation on the show. That's for me something very important, a priority, because I always advocate for every Latin American entertainer to go and audition for the TV show. We need that representation. We hope one day we have a second winner beside Bianca Del Rio on USA, winning Drag Race, even with accent, because we need to embrace our Latinidad, Latinx community. So for me, the connection that I have with her, it was very specific because of culture. And that's how I embrace our friendship, Second, the girls were seeing me as a mentor because I already have the experience of being on season 8 of Drag Race. So I become like the auntie CuCu for everybody asking me questions like, when they're going to film the designing challenge, when they're going to film the main stage of Drag Race with all the looks, like what time we're going to eat or things like that. So I become this motherly, drag racer figure to all of them. So I gained the respect and the love from all my siblings right after. And especially with Valentina, that she was the only one that speaks Spanish. Yeah, and my time with James Mansfield was a little bit short, sadly, because she got eliminated on the first episode. But she came back gloriously from All Star Season 8, and we get to enjoy 100% how amazing entertainer she is from head to toe. She created everything, and her personality so vibrant and so, amazing. So I'm glad she got that second chance. But when she was getting eliminated and she was walking out, out of the stage before she said her exit line on the main stage of Drag Race, she said like, "Te amo, cabrona," and that means in English, "I love you, her." And you're the Latina representation here with Valentina, so represent us well, and that was beautiful. I'm like, oh, I wish she stayed a little bit longer so we can embrace that conversation into the Latinas representing the Latino community, But with Valentina, since I stay all the 6 episodes up, I get to do that close. And today I can say that she's a good friend of mine. We talk like once a month, then when we can, because she's very busy. I'm busy too with a lot of things on my career and stuff. But we have a beautiful relationship with that. That being said, in my case, since all the girls were nice with me and I was nice with all the girls, I never thought about the animosity were happening, next to me. Also, I was focused to do my job on season 9 the best that I can and focus. They called me back, not even let's say a year to film season 9, but it was technically 10 months after I filmed season 8. So it was a short period of time. I was getting out of recovery. I was start traveling. So I don't have time to process or analyze, all the entire situation were happening with me. So I want to be as focused as possible on season 9, that's why you see a lot of the footage that I might be making pretty quiet in a corner or anything like that, because I was thinking about what's going to be next, what I'm going to be doing, because that's the way that my mind, works. So that day of the reunion, behind the scenes, I saw a couple of the girls, a couple of my sisters talking, like, I don't know, who's going to be Miss Congeniality. All of them, they were asking me, and they said, like, they should give it to Peppermint. or they should give it to you because really you guys were like, peppering with their story to be that she's a beautiful transgender woman, and she embraced it on that beautiful episode. That was very empowering. A lot of people were touched by her story, I'm like, you know, we were thinking about that, but I was saying, to a group of my sisters when we were ready, before the reunion, like, but I think also Valentina was a very popular, in all entire social media. Everybody loved her. It's the first Mexican American representation that highlight, her ethnicity, because we know we have Adora Dorana, we have Gabriel Villarreal, aka Delta Work, that they came, from that ethnicity of Latinx. But Valentina embraced it, and in a way that we saw and stamped on her looks and everything that she does for Drag Race. Even La Virgen de Guadalupe was her drag mom. So, things like that. And some of my sisters were looking at me like, no, we don't think so. She was popular. Congenial? I don't know. And I'm like, okay, I just want to look pretty with my beautiful Miss Congeniality, sash that I create myself, the look that, I have all red, and let's see who's the winner. So for me, I perceived the sense of tension before that moment came out to live on the episode, And even Aja, that I love Aja, today she's Venus. She's embracing her beautiful truth. She's a transgender woman. Congratulations to you, my love. I'm so proud of you. And she's doing great on the ballroom scene. She's very well respected today. She was like, girl, I don't know, but I think I'm going to talk. And you know what it is, the topic of conversation. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? Okay. And always the conversation was behind, like, my sister Valentina gained so much followers. Because again, like I told you before, the main reason was that she was this goddesses, Mexican American, finally embracing that culture beside other Latinx, representations that we have in the show, Puerto Ricans, Panamanian, and other ethnicities too. And then she's beautiful. And then she in front of the camera, she gave us great TV too. Like, I want to keep it on, please. Or, like challenging RuPaul in the middle of her critiques on the main stage. That was a breakthrough for a moment for the TV show, beside the finale that we know it was a spectacular. Sasha Velour on the pedals. Oh my God, So it was a lot of tension before the reunion, and during the reunion before that part, because they told me last minute, Cynthia, that day, because I was supposed to wear my lasagna hair, my finale look, to give my Miss Congeniality prize, because it used to be on the finale that you give that prize. But they say, like, no, we're changing that. If you have two looks, just wear your Miss Congeniality title look now, because we're going to do it on the reunion. I'm like, oh, there's some changes. Okay, I understand the dynamic. And that was the moment, that Valentina, and I was happy. Another, Latinx recipient, getting this prize. But all of a sudden, like, Aya interrupt everything and say, like, hold on.
Without her, I wouldn't even be congenial.
What? Wait. I just don't feel like you should be Miss Congeniality.
And let me tell you, everything that happened on that reunion was 100% real. That was not staged. That was what my peers and my siblings felt at that moment to say, and to bring up that conversation. And I think that was the first time that we started talking about following in some members of the fandom of Drag Race, to respect, others, siblings on the show. And now you guys, I think season 9 was the season that we bring you guys for a conversation of, respect and love. And remember, this is a TV show. Just respect the individuals. Don't set death threats, because it was brutal. Like, I remember Che, I remember Trinity, I remember another of the girls too, that they were receiving like death threats because, oh, don't treat Valentina that way. No, we're, very, very, very terrible things. So on that reunion, that's why everybody felt, or a specific group of my sisters, especially Aja, that opened up the conversation with that, like, hold on a second, you might be fan favorite, but you're not Miss Congeniality. When she opened up that conversation on the reunion, that was the moment that we start talking about, like, hey, more awareness to the fans, to be more respectful to the drag racers, and in the future editions too as well. Which I want to say this now that we're talking about fan base of Drag Race. A lot of people misuse the term all the fans of Drag Race. I don't use all the fan base. I use some members of the fandom, because the majority of the fandom of Drag Race are sweethearts, are people that are very supportive. They are very respectful the way that they give their opinion. You and other like people that use this platform to, talk about the show and talk about all of us, you do it in a respectful way. So I think it's time to stop saying all the fandom, because it's not all the fandom. We need to stop generalizing the fandom. It's just only a couple of members that they need slap on their CuCu with a chancla, aka a flip-flop. Like, hey, be careful what you're saying, be mindful what you're saying, because you can affect or influence somebody else's life in a way, But yeah, that's what happened on the reunion. I can tell you more. I can not tell you more, but
that reunion was so that reunion was just so crazy and wild, but it was such good TV. And I think some of your other sisters have said previously that also maybe, production were giving you drinks to make sure that everyone maybe, was a bit more talkative and stuff like that. So I think that, I guess, is also part of it.
And let me tell you, I don't know if you had the opportunity to try the House of Love cocktails. In a couple of seasons in America, they were giving the House of Love, and the doctor gave me green light to try, taste a little bit of cocktails and things. And I tried the House of Love, my last track con that I had the opportunity to attend, and it was in a year, actually, like almost a year and a half, 2 years ago. And when I tried for the very first time, I was like, "Oh, honey, if they don't speak their mind just only with the first sip of any of these cans of House of Love, I'm quitting drag, because this is strong." And that's the drink that they are still providing to the girls to be on top, So, that's why Candy Muse had that moment. If you don't have star quality, you know what I'm saying?
That's so fun. No, it's true. And I obviously it makes good TV. I thought the season 9 reunion was so funny and so entertaining and everything. And I think everyone's okay now. Like, obviously Valentina's hugely successful. She's, hosting Drag Race Mexico. So I'm so glad. And like you said, Aja is also like an amazing like ballroom dancer and everything. So she's also super talented. So I'm glad that everyone is now okay. But it was amazing TV. And I thought you were just so graceful and so sort of, you just stood there very regal and just like giving the award. It was so funny. But yeah, so thank you so much. Like, I loved your run on Drag Race was so amazing. I think even though your first run on season 8 was quite short and you had your health problems, you came back for season 9. I think everyone just absolutely loved you. You're such like a lovable person. And I think everyone loved you. So I'd love to sort of then now the name of my channel, we've sort of talked about this, but the name of my channel is Drag Tea Served. So I was just wondering if you could perhaps serve us some drag tea and maybe tell us, get your drink, and maybe tell us something that happened backstage that you wish had been shown, or like a juicy bit of tea maybe that you can share from either of your seasons.
Well, rest in peace with Chishi. Which I love Sidian from the bottom of my heart, one of my best friends besides Jessica Wilde. She have a special place in my heart forever. I miss her every day, since she passed away. But something that happened with her on the design challenge. Season 8 for me was the most campy, creative, and crazy season ever. Because I think till today, they don't cast a season like that ever before. Because the personalities were so different, and the talent and the creativity. I remember when we start preparing all of us for the sewing challenge, production were having a little bit difficulties because we were talkers. but we were so quiet because we were working fast. I was doing my Candy Ballroom Challenge look inspired on season 5. Everybody was working, bam, 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 no. And by the way, I can tell this. From all the sewing machines that you see on the workroom, just only one works. One. And they do that, of course, to make it a little bit like a difficult for everybody, to complete and execute and finish all her looks. I love them. And for season 9, it happens a little bit the same. Instead of 1, it was 2, because it was a big group, But when the designer, I felt something already. But with she got problems with her look. I know, right? With she had problems and difficulties with her look, but she's so creative. We remember that she got this trash bag, beautiful dress for her workroom. But then, we have to go on stage immediately. So I remember poor thing, like she was rushing herself to, with hot glue at the end. And she was a little bit like uncomfortable with that because she said, I want to show the judges I can design a full complete look, honey. And I did it with the sewing machine. I don't have to use a hot glue, but I don't have, So I think that was one of the moments that it was stressful for everybody. And at the end of the day, I saw Kimchi and Bob like, no, I help you. And they were helping them like put the pieces together of that look. And she was hot gluing. I'm like, do you need anything? You need like me giving her like bobby pins and things. So I think from season 8, that was the moment that maybe it was nerve-wracking for her and for us because we were so like family oriented. When you are contained in a room for so many weeks with peers, and then they become your sisters, your siblings, and you get to love them. And one is struggling, you as a part of the queer community, or today, because it's diversified, you just an entertainer, a drag performer, an entertainer, an artist. You want to help. You're here if it's in trouble. So that happened on season 8, but she get to sell it on stage. She looks beautiful. I love the metallic, the fabrics that she used. She did a great job. But that was the moment that everybody was like, "Ay, poor thing." No, we love her because she won our hearts right after, as soon as we went, we were presented on the workroom, entrance. For season 9, the most common challenge, the gymnastic, the cheerleader challenge. Not just only Eureka was injured, Trinity the Talk was injured, and myself were injured. Me was my feet, my ankle, my feet. Trinity was a knee, and Eureka, sadly, it was her knee. In her case, and I was there, and when I saw she did the split and the way that she bounced her body back up and down, I saw her patelle, the front part of the knee. Oh, now we're going to anatomy with Cynthia Fontaine. Yes, that patelle area, get dislocated. I'm like, as soon as she finished, I'm like, come over here. We need to talk. What happened with your knee? And she was like, with all the adrenaline after the challenge, we were about to film that challenge again for a second time. Because some of the challenges, they filmed it twice. I'm like, no, we need to stop. Some of the staff, she just like injured her knee. And it was Kimura too, like, baby doll, like, everything's okay with you? Trinity saw it too. And then me, when I did my high kick and I came back, I was like in pain too. And I'm like, guys, can you give us a break or something? Because we are in pain. But Eureka said, because Eureka is a professional. Eureka is a total professional. And I understood that right after when she told me, no, I'm fine. Let's do it again. And I think when we repeat that filming back again, that was the moment that the injury become more severe, And that's the moment, that's something that anybody knew. I mean, recently Peppermint, with her conversations online with Bob, say it frankly and honestly, like, she went on a rampage.
Oh, that cheerleading challenge was terrible. because the money they spent on Eureka's knee cost them more than all them cheerleading pom-poms and skirts they bought put together. Girl, when they told us we had to lift other drag queens that we just met over our head, I was like, what are y'all thinking?
I was laughing because I love Peppermint. Oh my God, she's super successful. One of the first, like being on Broadway and having this part on her Broadway musical a couple of years ago. I'm so proud of her. But she went into a rampage like they never don't do a challenge like that again on Drag Race because that was a battlefield. That was a bloodbath, and it was because I mean like. Yes, we saw some challenges in past seasons of Drag Race, but the magnitude of the physical involvement that we have on this challenge was really brutal, you know. And you can ask a question, you have the answer. Did they repeat a cheerleader challenge back again in the current seasons after season 9? No. And I don't think in any early future they're gonna plan to do it back again.
That cheerleader challenge was so because it was a fun challenge to watch. But when I like, there's been rumors for years, and Peppermint did talk about it, and a few others have said how many people got injured. We know obviously Eureka got injured because she talked about it with her knee. But that challenge, I remember watching it just thinking, this is really physically intense. And like, if you're not a trained gymnast, that's very difficult. So I'm not surprised that they're not repeating that challenge because it probably was just a bit too difficult for drag queens to like, for anyone who's not a professional. It's just it's crazy that they did it, but it was fun TV, I suppose.
Oh, and let me tell you, as soon as I call she after I filmed season 9, and I told her to say have like, you know, bandages still after like get eliminated and all that stuff. I wasn't recovering, and I told her, she was like, "Girl, why didn't you do that challenge on season 8? Because I'm a gymnastic, you know. She knew about cheerleading and gymnastic, you know." I'm like, "Well, girl, I mean, it was us. What can I tell you? And we were injured." And it was not nice, you know. One of the competitors, you know, might need, you know, surgery, which followed to that a couple of months after Eureka had to go on the procedure, you know. But it was insane. It was like being on. I don't know if you watched the Squid Game on Netflix. Like it involved physical activity in order that you don't get killed, but you won like millions of dollars at the end. Something like that, without $1 million, but a bunch of wigs.
Yeah, it's true. It is like Drag Race is like the Squid Games. It's very similar.
Imagine.
Well, thank you so much for spilling that tea. That was very, very juicy tea. I'd love to move on to some subscriber questions. So I got lots of questions for you. So I got hundreds of questions. So I've obviously only chosen a few. But in general, every single person, so many people said, I don't have a question. I just want you to tell Miss CuCu that I love her. We all love her. She's so amazing. So many people just said, you're such a positive person and you're so inspiring. So that was a general thing that so many people wanted me to tell you that you're a legend. So the first question.
Thank you to everybody for your love and support.
Okay, so the first question is from my Patreon called Kylie, and she said, I'm aware that Cynthia has been dealing with a lot of health issues. My question is, how has she been coping with this? Have there been any moments that you felt like giving up? And the reason that Kylie is asking is because she's dealing with cancer herself, and she would love to hear your perspective on how to on the healing journey.
When you are dealing with an illness, especially with cancer or any type of surgery of something that impact your body, you know, it's very hard. It's very hard because you just want to be healthy. You just want to be active. You want to continue like making your dreams come through. You just want to like do what you love the most, but your body's telling you to stop because something is happening, you know? So I totally can empathize with her situation. So Kylie, first I send you positive energy. In my case, what I do to her and so many that a lot of your subscribers that can be dealing with any chronic illness or any diagnosis, it's to have a spiritual connection. In my case, a spiritual connection to me is a good energy. I believe in a maximum power. I always pray. I always, have positive thoughts in the morning affirmations. Even if I feel like, discontent or just only I feel, that I don't have the energy or I don't have the enthusiasm to continue doing things that day because I'm a human being, I'm vulnerable, of feeling sadness or feeling like, distress and more. But what helped me to continue with this positive energy, is my spiritual connection, with positive energy, with God. And that helps me a lot. Before I do anything in the morning, I do my prayers and I do my affirmations always, every morning. And even if I'm not feeling well that morning, I transform completely that energy into positive energy because I did that process to take care of my spiritualism, all my entire spiritual, area, to take care of my mind, to clean it up from maybe probably some worries that I had the day before. Might be a gig, might be I need to see the doctor to a follow up or things like that, or overwhelming because of the situation is happening in the country politically, because I've been actively fighting for the LGBTQ rights, especially for the anti-drag and anti-trans bills that been proposed here in America. So things like that. And having that connection, a spiritual connection with whatever you believe, it's very important. But also having your own affirmations. I recognize that you have positive qualities because every human being have positive qualities that help to increase motivation and good energy in order that you can have the rest of the day, in a positive state of mind. Even if you face any challenges, at that moment, you're going to have the opportunity to you know what? But I have my mind and my soul are okay, even if I'm experiencing pain because I'm receiving chemo right now or radio, or even if I experience pain because in my case, for example, my hips, I have a vascular necrosis before the surgery. For example, I was doing the tour in the UK and I did 11 cities. It was 2 weeks before my first hip replacement surgery. And I was doing all this because I was helping, my part of the rent with my boyfriend to help me in all the months I was not supposed to work for recovery. And it was one morning I woke up, it was the last city, and I was supposed to perform in York. And I'm like, this is the last city. I don't have the energy. But I woke up and I did my prayers and my conversations with my spiritual connection. And I did my affirmations. And I was in tears. I was traveling with my best friend, Anna, that I love her so much. She's like my sister. I love her so much. Tomorrow is her birthday. So happy birthday. I don't know where you're going to air this, but, happy birthday to her and everybody that it's Jan month, blessings to all of you. And she saw me and she put her hand on my shoulder and she said, I'm here with you. Your fans are here for you and you're going to be fine. And then that was right after I did my affirmations and my spiritual connection prayers. And that was the moment that what I do in the morning is so powerful. We don't have any expectations. We don't know the future. We don't know if that day is going to be positive. We don't know if that day is going all the way, all the way to the whole. But at least we are prepared spiritually and mentally in a positive attitude just to face any guidance of discomfort or pain or disappointment or other stuff that can happen to the end of the day. So that was my biggest medicine for myself, for the soul, for all the entire journey that I've been through, and also to receive a day of challenges. But at least at that moment, I was preparing my body and my soul to be positive all the time. And that's what I do always, all these weeks. I've been with my mom and my parents, and it's been a beautiful experience because I reconnect with them, it's spiritual issue. And every morning we read a devotional, and we discuss devotional, and, we close our eyes and, they pray to God, and I do my connections and I do my prayers and I do my spiritual connection too. And that helped me to put my feet on the ground and said, like, you know what, you're a human being, you're not a robot, you're vulnerable to things. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to feel discouraged. It's okay to feel that things are not going the way that you want to. But at least you need to recognize good qualities on your personality and character, and you need to recognize that you're fighting for it. So to her and to everybody, that experiencing right now any illness and is feeling like completely hopeless, do not give up. Just fight because life can be very difficult, but at the same time, life is beautiful.
No, that's a beautiful message. So thank you for that. And I think that's amazing advice. And I think you've been such an inspiration for people dealing with your illnesses and your different conditions and things. So, I'm sure you have inspired so many people, including, my patron Kylie. So thank you so much for those kind words. The next question, it's kind of to do with, you talked about advocacy. It's a big thing for you, and you're a big advocate for the LGBT plus community and things like that. The next question is kind of related to that. So the question is actually in Spanish. But if you could respond in English, because this is an English speaking channel. But the question is, dentro de tus experiencias como artista drag y dado que muchos han sido víctimas de ataques en las calles mientras están en drag, ¿en algún momento tuviste algún encontronazo con alguien que se haya puesto violento, que te haya querido agredir solo por ir vestido de mujer? So in English, that's within your experiences as a drag artist, and given that you've been the victim of attacks on the street, have you ever had a run-in with someone who became violent or tried to attack you just for being dressed as a woman?
So before I answer the question, you read that question in Spanish so perfectly. So everybody, a round of digital applause to you, all your subscribers and followers, because honey, you slay, you won. You're going to receive 5,000 likes and kisses from all the fans. Chante, you stay, honey. Muy buen trabajo. Great job. Wow. Great job. In response to the question, honestly, till today, I feel the good energy and the spiritual connection that I have protect me everywhere that I go. God, because I still till today don't have any violent encounter with a person that it's having an opposition with what I do as a drag queen and also as a queer person, part of the LGBT community. So I feel that I'm blessed for that. And I try to present myself the way that I am, very diplomatic and respectful too as well. And that's maybe probably what I gained the respect of, members of even political parties that have the idealism against our queer rights or the queer community in a way. And they get to listen, So I'm glad till today I did not receive any backlash or any violent attack against my persona. However, I have to pay attention, to where I go, to my surroundings, and also to, when I receive any of the testimonies of other peers around the world that they receive any type of violent attack because of what they are as a drag queen or drag entertainers or peers, like what happened with the Vivian and other entertainers in the UK, that is very unfortunate, what happened with her recently last year. It was very unfortunate because, again, the artistry of drag, the only purpose that we have is to provide, happiness and fun and draw smiles, to every single individual that had the opportunity to see a drag show. Nothing else. And it's been proved by everything that is happening in the past year with all the evidence, for other sectors of the society that really attacks children or really attacks individual because of cultural or just sexual preference or gender orientation differences. So it had to stop the hate against us as an entertainer. I think it's out of the place. It's disgusting. I did not condone violence in any single level, and again, again, like I have to bring back what happened on Pulse Orlando. It breaks my heart. A couple of people that I knew over there, they were killed. What happened in Colorado last year, and other attacks, that are really hate crimes. So I'm calling for peace. I'm calling for understanding. I'm calling for love, and I hope all the work that I'm doing, and not just only myself, a group of fiercely, brave entertainers here in the United States of America, that they are doing to protect the rights of the queer community. I hope one day we can say that we are living in a society of acceptance and respect to us, in the same way that we provide that respect to the other social systems of all the entire community and all the entire nation in the United States of America too as well.
No, that's extremely important. I think you've been such a great voice for promoting and supporting the LGBT plus community. So thank you so much for your advocacy, especially within drag, because that is so important. That's obviously been a very big political issue. So I think people like you is very, very important, and you're also great representation. So thank you so much for that. And we're so glad to have you doing that. The next question. And
thank you for the question. Thank you for the question.
The next question, this one came up a lot. This question was asked so many times, you can probably guess. Would you ever consider doing All Stars or any form of All Stars, international versus the world, whatever?
Absolutely, yes. No hesitation to answer that question. I love to work with World Wonder. I love to work with RuPaul. Even I have a beautiful moment before on the episode. It was my surprise episode on season 9. I have a beautiful moment that I get to interact with RuPaul. RuPaul's husband was there, Michelle Visage, Lady Gaga assistant, because the production called me and said, like, you know what? It's going to take a little bit more longer for your surprise moment. So do you would like to go with RuPaul and hang out with her on Backstage? And as soon as I say that, I was already walking out. I'm like, what way I need to go? Of course, I need to learn from the biggest, from the mind, from the matriarchy of drag, And it was like an hour, 2 hours. I don't remember how long. For me, it was an eternity that I will never forget because it was beautiful. They gave me a lot of word of advice. They gave me, we were playing Guess Who? Backstage, and that approach that I have solidified more the love and the respect that I have for RuPaul Charles as an empire of drag, as the person that didn't care never about somebody else's opinion about his persona or his drag. It was her. It was her, the supermodel of the world. It was her, like, producing numbers. It was her that had the collaboration with Elton John. It was her having the RuPaul show. It was her, like, that she created this RuPaul Drag Race empire that we have so many franchises all around the globe, So for me, that moment validated my love and support to all the entire production of Drag Race and to her for create a platform for all of us to have the opportunity to shine. And for just only that solo reason, I will come back. If they call me as Shangela, if they call me as Jujubee, I can be the Latino Jujubee. I'm available 24/7. They know my phone number. Everything is okay. Now I'm a transformer because I have my prosthetics on my hips. I have this titanium. Honey, I'm invincible now, like Sia's song. So, of course, absolutely, I would love to compete and go back. But also, I wanted some of my sisters to have the opportunity to come back to the show and experience again time this great and amazing experience too, like, for example, April Carry On. I feel like she deserved a second chance, I feel like from recent seasons too, there's a group of entertainers of my siblings that, oh my God, if they come back, they can slay the competition too. From early seasons too, there's a couple of, faces too. I wish one day, and I spoke with her like a couple of months ago, and I wish her the best. And she's on a beautiful journey too. But Ivy Winters, she's happy with what she's doing with the artistry, with her farm and all this stuff. But I always have in my heart that wish for her, like, hey, do you want to take a vacation and go to Los Angeles and film Drag Race All Stars? She will give us, that amazing artistry. She's a great designer. She is. Because I did not retire her. She just like, retire herself, but I did not, because in my head I still see Ivy Winters, that beautiful artistry from head to toe as a drag queen. I wish I can see her back again. Uh, a lot of my congeniality sisters too. I want to see her back too. Those ones that they don't have the second chance spot. So I hope that, again, first I want everybody to live this experience to come to Drag Race, but also my siblings, and some of my siblings are on Drag Race already, or they are former drag racers for past season. I want them to have that opportunity back again, because the show is a huge platform to show yourself, to show your artistry, and also like biggest names on the business today. James Monsoon being in Doctor Who, Broadway. You have Trixie Mattel with an amazing makeup and YouTube empire. Katya, Alaska, Willem, Bob the Drag Queen, Monet Exchange. All these amazing entertainers change the business for good, and they are giving us hope to all of us, the rest of us, like, hey, if Mama Ruth can do it, us can do it, you can do it too as well. So don't lose hope. Like drag right now, it's seen as what we supposed to years ago and decades ago. We are the superstars. So we can conquer the world. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if they call me, like actually they call me right now, okay, I think they are calling me, bye. I'm ready.
No, we would love to see you back on All Stars. Like, you're definitely one of the people, you always come up in the list of who do they want to come back to All Stars. So I would love to see you on All Stars. So if anyone from World of Wonder is watching this, please cast Cynthia, because we want to see you again.
Call me in español, llámame.
And another question was, a lot of people said, a lot of people were saying you have a beautiful singing voice, and you do a lot of singing and things like that. So people were wondering if you're ever going to bring out music, or what if you can talk a little bit about that part of yourself.
So I've been singing since 1996, and for the very first time in 2019, I have the pleasure to release a song, a fun song. It was Pegajosa, Stick in English. And that was the moment that I realized I want to come back to my roots and combine my artistry as a drag queen, as a drag entertainer performer, and I started releasing music and, go into that direction, but it came on a time that the industry of music changed into the streaming platforms that we know today, Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes. So all these reverb into a situation that is very accessible to music today. You can make your own music. You can record your own vocals. You can do everything, So in all these years, I had the opportunity and the blessing to do a lot of collaborations with, oh my God, I forgot the name, but one of my recent collaborations was with Miguel San Michael's, local Austin artist, Latinx too, Tex-Mex, Siona too from San Antonio, oh Dios, Mr. King, a famous, adult entertainment porn star from Spain that we did Pam Pam. So music opened the doors for me for the opportunity for so many stuff. But now with the transition and the change for the streaming services for music, it kind of affect the way that I'm, working on my music. It's been a little bit of a challenge. I'm not going to lie to you. But always me, myself, and I adaptate to the new situation and I evolve. So right now I'm working, to do more collaborations, but also start planning from here to 2 years, my solo album. I hope it goes well. I have a couple of writers that they want to contribute and collaborate with me. I have my own songs because I'm a songwriter too, So it's just me fighting with the big fishes, and when I say that, me as an indie artist, fighting to get my music out there versus competing with these monstrous big names, on their entertainment business, that they have the blessing of a big, like, music labels, agencies and these big groups that they have, the money. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm blessed, because last year, after my surgeries and after my recovery from my hip replacement, I shared the stage with the one and only Crystal Waters, and I get to tour and be the special guest, an opening for Aqua, the band. Things like that I didn't expect to live those experiences before. I break through, and I have the blessing to live those amazing experiences as an artist, So for me, that was a new reinventing for Cynthia Fontaine. That was a new way to see things myself as an artist and start believing in myself more as a singer, more as a songwriter. And this year, I cannot tell you anything. Sorry, that tea, I'm going to save it on the fridge, because as soon as everything is out, everybody's going to be very happy. But I'm going to be doing a couple of collaborations with big names on the Drag Race, family. And I know everybody's going to be very, very, very excited. I'm very happy to know who the collaboration is, but I cannot say anything right now so far. But again, preparing everything step by step in order that I can have that solo album of Cynthia Lee Fontaine, well produced, well prepared, and made with so much love for the entertainment and for everybody, to enjoy and support, So I'm working hard on my music. There's a lot of people asking me because, of course, my heritage in Spanish. I'm all the way from Puerto Rico. I love my Puerto Rican heritage and my culture and everything I've been doing in Spanish. There might be a possibility I've been doing some stuff in English officially. So let's see what happens, Maybe revisit, one of the areas in music that I like, that is classical training, opera, and for example, we have Monet, we have Safira, that she did a great job on that first episode, doing her own invention, of that amazing, opera classical song, so things like that. But I want everybody to know that my main focus right now, one of my biggest passions since I was a kid, is music and is singing. So they're going to see more of me out there sooner.
Well, I'm very excited. That sounds like you've got some amazing projects coming up, and it's such a cool talent to have, being a singer and everything. So you should use that and sing about your CuCu or something. That is amazing. So thank you so much. I would love to get on to my quick fire round of questions. So I have 5 questions. They're silly questions. Some are drag related, some are not drag related. So I'm just going to ask you the 5 questions, and it's just tell me the first thing that comes, like the first answer that comes to your head, okay? So, lipstick or lip gloss?
Lipstick.
Yes or no, pineapple on pizza?
Absolutely yes. I'm from an island. We love all that together, honey.
Your favorite emoji?
Oh, the loving face with the hearts on the ice.
Cocktail or champagne?
Cocktail.
And can you describe in one word your experience from Drag Race?
Fantastic.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. It's been absolutely a pleasure to speak to you. I so loved you on your season. So thank you so much for agreeing to be on this interview. It's been so lovely speaking to you. I was just wondering, is there any projects you want to talk about, or where can people find you on social media? Is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Well, like I said before, there's an upcoming collaboration that I'm going to have with one of my Drag Racer sisters. Another entertainer is from the family is interested to that collaboration. There's going to be more traveling and more music too as well. Probably we're contemplating the possibility to do DragCon this year in LA. So fingers crossed. Also, I have to say this, and you're going to be one of the first ones to know. I have a documentary that we submit to 27 festivals, already 6 festivals. They say yes to screen my documentary. The name of the documentary is Barbette plus Fontaine. Surprise, surprise. I know. I'm very excited. The reception of the documentary when we submit the documentary with so many festivals was so good. Later on, I'm gonna share with you the information so you know about the documentary and more. And you can follow the documentary Instagram page. It's Barbette plus Fontaine. It's a beautiful story and parallel lives between Barbette, a very famous drag trapeze from 1920s, all the way from Round Rock, Texas, and my life, me today, as part of the Austin, Texas entertainment, community, and all the struggles and all the obstacles and everything that we face together, but how our lives collide, through the love of drag. So I hope that when this documentary is going to be out, I hope that you guys please, support. Again, go to the Instagram webpage and follow us. It's Barbette plus Fontaine. And it's a lovely, short documentary. It's 15 minutes documentary, but it's made with love. And I produced this with an amazing production from CBS Network in Austin, Texas. It's a group of people that is super creative, visually talking. They have this vision. They bring my story and Barbette's story beautifully together in a very professional and an emotional way. So I hope that you and all your subscribers and all the fan base of Drag Race and all my CuCu fans had the opportunity when the documentary finally is going to be out, to enjoy this documentary that it was made with love and, always bringing up the artistry of drag. And that's what I have for now. There's more things to come. Stay tuned. Follow me on social media at Cynthia Lee Fontaine, on Instagram, _Lee Fontaine at X. If you wanna, see my spicy, X, aka twits comments that I do because I have fun, and I spice it up in Espanol, picante a little bit, but with love, always with respect. And always with love to all the rest of the entertainers and the family of Drag Race, and to all of you, Facebook, Cynthia Lee Fontaine or Carlos Diaz. And, you can find me in any, crazy application on your phone too as well.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been so lovely speaking to you. And I'm sure we're so excited for all of your projects coming up. You're such a legend. So thank you so much, Cynthia Lee Fontaine. It's been absolutely a pleasure speaking to you. And to meet the CuCu, to speak to you, CuCu, it's been such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. And I need to ask a special request because I'm a huge fan of your channel, and I'm a huge fan of all the videos that you produce and you put out there. You have to say your phrase.
Gossip, secrets, and drama, honey.
Yeah! I love that drama.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you for everything. Blessings to you and success. Bye-bye.